Uh, mm, man. Has anybody ever hi? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I literally just woke up and like I didn't want to really get out of the bed. I think I'm a little sick, so but I just feel so like I'm in repair mode or something, my body's trying to repair itself. I don't really drink like that, but last night I drank. I had like wine, of course, but um I just was thinking like, dang, bro, I really was texting this man when I was like lit last night. I was trying to call all of these people on my phone, and I said to myself, I need to get more nigga numbers. I feel like, I've been limiting myself for so long, you know, wishing and hoping that he would choose me, he would want me, he'll love me, he'll see me, but I don't know. I'm not like all the other girls. You know what I mean? I never really had like I was popular or anything. I was always noticed, but I was never like in the 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 type like that. You know what I mean? Like I was just more too. My mom, she kept me very you know like sheltered. Sorry, but I mean, I'm not stupid. I never, I mean, stupid. You know what I mean? Like this nigga, he was like, "Can I buy you a drink?" I said, "You can just give me the money." He was like, "All right, here," but bam, there the money. I ain't bet. Got money instead. You know what I mean? Like I ain't gonna use a nigga for something I could get for myself. Nigga, just give me your money. I think that was fun. Taking niggas' money. Yeah, I am different. Yeah. I mean, I just always had this mentality of I made so many videos last night. My phone is out of space, so I guess what's going on here? I'm talking about last night. I went out a little bit. But it's funny because I was sick the whole entire time. The crazy thing about it was, it's like people that kept seeing me last night, they were like, "Oh, hey." Oh, you good, you good, come in. I didn't even have to show, listen, I showed my ID 2 times. That was it. I was just getting VIP, baby, walking in. Oh, you good, you good, go ahead. I'm like, I bet. I was making friends with the people at the door. Like, the security was feeling me. The people at the bar, bitch. It was funny. This dude was like, "Can I get y'all a drink?" I was like, "Y'all." He was like, "Yeah." I was like, he said, "You ain't with them?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, can I get you a drink?" I said, "You can just give me your money instead." And he was like, "All right, this is you." Boom. And then I went to the next place. He saw me over there. He was like, "How'd you get over here? You following me?" I said, "I walked here." And he was like, "Oh." I said, "Listen, I spilled this girl drink and it's her birthday." He said, "I bet. I'll get it for you. Here, boom, this yours." I was like, stop. You know what's so crazy? I was having a dream that people was just giving me money. Like literally, like I remember one of the dreams, my mom was in my dream. And she was saying I was carrying a dead body. But it was weird because this dead body I was carrying was alive to me. And he was holding me. And I remember they was like, "Can you somebody please take this dead body back to the morgue?" They said, "How did he get here?" They said, "Desiree brought him here." And I said, "I brought a dead body. I was carrying a dead body, bro." And then I had a drink in the dream when I was trying to take the body back. For some reason, I end up in a field during a war, like with soldiers and stuff, and they're shooting. Like it was like a practice field or something, and they were shooting. They had the flags up, and I was like, "Stop, stop! I'm out here." So I started doing the military crawl, and it was like, "Stop, stop!" And then I got up, and it was like, "Girl, you good?" And we just started laughing about it, and I said, "But my body," and then they took the body for me, and then all of a sudden people just started giving me mad money. Like uh I had $20 already in my pocket. Then someone gave me a 50, and then someone gave me 100, and I was like, "Yo, where this money coming from? Like, what this money about?" And then people just started giving me money. And then I started getting recognized by people in my dream, and I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. I don't know. I just, I just feel like for years I always just wanted this intimacy with people in my life that I thought, I thought that's what love was. You know what I mean? Where you can give somebody complete intimacy, honesty, loyalty, because that's what I give my people. When I like you, when I roll for you, when I rock with you, I'm loyal to you. I'm loyal. And I always said to myself, I was like, man, I hate the fact that I'm so loyal because people just dog me. Like they treat me like I'm gonna always be there. Like they take me for granted, you know? And it's like, I don't want to be mistreated. I don't want to be treated like I'm not important, like I'm not special. I remember my aunt, she was like, "Oh, what are you going to do when all of this modeling and acting stuff falls?" Because you're not special. Literally looked me dead in my face and told me I wasn't special. This is the same woman that told me over the phone before I was going to do my audition in Hollywood that I was the type of girl they find dead in a ditch. Like I was not shit, you know. And that whole night, I just The only thing I could think about is this real? Is it real? Am I going to be found dead in a ditch? Am I falling into a trap, a deception? I was, I was so, I was so worried and fearful that she was right. And the next day came. I was trying to practice lines that I didn't really need to practice, but I did it anyway. You know, I just, there's always been this fear put inside of me ever since I got hurt. I think my mind understood that there's a lot of bad things that can happen. Even if you don't think that you could be subjected to it, it can happen to you. So you need to be careful. I remember when I went out to, where was I? I was in some place. Fuck. I was in another state. And I saw a woman. I think I went to IHOP. And I was sitting there. And she just started talking to me. She was an older woman, probably like in her 70s or so. And we were talking. And then when she got her order and she was leaving, she looked back at me and she said, "You be careful." And I was thinking, like, why is she telling me to be careful? What's going to happen to me? You know? Like, what's going to happen to me? And then someone else told me to be careful. And I was just starting to think, like, yo, is there something people are seeing about me that I don't know? And then boom, it hit me. They're telling me to be careful because this world is huge. And there is a lot of different types of people in this world that want to benefit off of you, that want to take everything that you have, take you. My mother, she raised me in a way that no one will ever understand. You know what I mean? She showed me how bad it could really get. What can happen to you if you let your guard down? It's true. You know what I mean? You gotta know when to say yes and you gotta know when to say no. And you gotta know to be careful. Be careful. Because just when you turn your back, there can always be somebody right behind you. I've been so hungry. And I've been so awoken that when my rest come, I'm not resting. I'm getting downloads of how to win, what to do to not lose, what to do not to die, but to live. All I kept thinking was, why is everything for me hidden? Like, I just feel like everything for me is hidden. Like, why? You know? Why can't everything just be so straightforward? But it's not. Everything for me is like I gotta crack a code or something. I went and had a glass of wine. When I was given the choice to choose from the bottle, each bottle had a name, and one of the names was Josh. I chose that bottle because I knew that name. Then when I went to the next place, the next gig, something told me to get to the front. So I went to the front. When I looked up, the banner said Josh. My heart, my mind, my body, my ears began to tingle because I couldn't understand. Why is your name showing up on these things? I'm tired, bro. I'm so sick and tired of being the outcast, being the one that everybody secretly has this thing for. It's like, I will never know. I will never understand. Because maybe I'm just like a person that believe in miracles. I believe that I don't have to look for no man. I don't. I don't have to go out in the world looking for dick. I ain't gotta go out there looking for a nigga to give me money. Niggas just gonna give it to me without me even asking. Because you are what you attract. And the thing is, I know that there's a lot of things that look familiar to me. And I'm telling myself no. So, anyway. You gotta understand, people will play with you because they can. You want someone who never showed you enough respect to keep you. You want someone who shows you they choose to starve your love. And they want to break your mind. They want to break you. They want to put you back in your place, trying to block your blessings. My mother said, Desiree, of course he wants you because he see you leveling up. That's true, Mom. I think you're right. I was thinking no matter how old I am, my mother is my mother. And I know she's not going to tell me wrong. So I declare that this day I will not cry. I will not beg and I will not plead and I won't comply. I will go in myself and in with God. And yes, I will get the help that I need because this is between me and the Lord. I didn't heal how you suggested or how you think I should heal, but I healed. And I healed not just one wound, I healed many. And you want to know something? I even went back to those same scars and reopened them just so I don't pick at it again. Because sometimes it's hard to just be in peace, be in a place where your mind is clear, your eyes can see and hear. I've seen so many people die. I've seen so many dead bodies. And I put so many dead bodies in body bags. I see a few go home, but many die. Maybe I am just different from you. We weren't cut from the same cloth. It's okay for me to be different. And it's okay for me not to be your taste. But it's not okay to think you can kill me. You're going to see me. You're going to see me. You're going to hear me. You're going to feel me. Because I'm on divine timing. And if you don't like what you see here, if you don't like me, well, sorry. Can't do nothing for you, baby. See, I went through death with God. I went through a season of being endlessly on my knees praying. And I could tell you one thing, that I'm so proud of myself for. I could look myself in the mirror and know everything I did not have to break the promise I made to my soul. I did not have to steal. I did not have to rob, and I did not have to kill to get where I'm at today. I did not have to lie. I did not have to cheat. I did not have to be manipulative. I didn't have to do nothing but just be still and hear God's voice when I was going through what I was going through, when I was going through the times of not understanding why, but God showed me. God keeps showing me that I'm not cut from the same cloth as you, that I am a highly favored by God, by heaven, by souls. I hear what you don't hear. I see what you can't see. The only reason why you're struggling, the only reason why you're where you're at is because you told yourself this is it. When God's been telling you no, it's actually not. But if you choose to stay in this state, if you choose to stay where they have you, then hey, you're going to stay there. But I'm going to keep showing you this ain't it. I'm going to keep putting in you your true identity, your true self. We fall into a deception every single day thinking that it ain't never going to happen. It's never going to happen for you, but it is already promised to happen. So the deception is going to who? The deceptor is who? Who is deceiving you? Because it ain't God. Ah, man, my back. Touch not the head of my anointing, and do my prophet no harm. You think that you know when you don't know. With God, there's growth, and in growth, there's abundance. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows how to really let go of pain. Guess what? You don't let it go. You learn how to move with the cuts. You learn how to take the blows. You learn how to stand and put your fists up and fight. You gotta learn. When pain is given, you give it back. How do you do that, little Desi? You don't fold. Sometimes we just run back to what reminds us of again and again, you ain't shit. used to think, if I could just get this one man, if I could just have this relationship with this person, I would win. Would I win? Because I'm getting the one man that everybody says I would never have. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. You want to know how I'm gonna win? By knowing that I'm the boss. By knowing that I had to do this shit on my own. Last night, I said to myself, I'm driving a Range Rover. I'm driving a fucking Range Rover. I went to California. I was in Hollywood. I have traveled cross country. I've touched over 100 million. I've touched over $1 million. What? I am on social media and I have so many people watching me. I dance. I sing. I inspire. How could I not celebrate this life of mine? How can I not? How can I not be happy for me? I started my business. I have my LLC for Little Desi. I am the CEO of my business. I survived the traps of the enemy to take my life. They wanted me to lay down and just shut up and not be a problem. I've taken care of over 1,000,000,000,000,000 of people all over the world of all different cultures. Wealthy, poor, senile, addicts. I've been almost across the border of Canada. I slept in mansions. I bought whatever I wanted from brands I've only seen wealthy people wear. Jewelry I never thought I could have. I have sat with people in the industry. I've eaten meat. Rich. I got to meet me. I got to fall in love with me. I got to see everything about me. And I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with Little Desi. I learned how to trust my intuition. I learned that what is life when you're not living? What is a day without a challenge? I am here. I make videos, I take pictures because they hold more than you can know. What you may see isn't what I'm giving. I'm giving reality. I'm giving truth. Despite what nobody want to know or hear. I survived addiction. I was smoking marijuana every single day. I was high every day. I wake and bake was my motto. But you want to know something? People would be like, oh, Desiree, you're okay. You good. It's like a medicine anyway. It's good for depression. It's good for anxiety. Guess what? I said, no, thank you, no more. No, I don't want no more. I don't need to be under the influence to get my shit done. I don't need to be under the influence to feel confident and self-aware. If I can go my whole life off of Ritalin and manage my disability, the disability they say I have, ADHD, okay. If I can beat this thing they say that I have, no medicine. I'm a grown woman now. I did it. I did it. I graduated from college. I graduated from high school. I busted my ass, even though I did get kicked out of high school. There was a setback in that. I could have gave up. I could have stopped seeing hope. But you want to know something? I prayed. I went to God. I got down on my knees. I broke down in the shower at 19. I said, God, please help me. I told God everything. I told him how my heart couldn't, how much I cared about Rico. And how much I needed to be freed from him. Because I wanted better for my life. And I asked God to make an opportunity for me. Open the doors. That's what I said. I said, I'll give it all away. You think this is the first time I had nothing? What you're looking at is a woman that has survived her whole damn life. Who learned the streets, who learned the game at a young age, and still chose to work hard for everything that I want. Everything. I'm pretty impressive. I got my mom off the streets at 22. I moved her into my condo in Lawton, Oklahoma. Guess what? She ain't had to pay for nothing. Nothing. Everything was provided for. Room and board, cars, everything. She had it. That's what a thug do, right? I hate how people try to put me down, demean me as if I ain't shit, try to take away my victories, my accomplishments, my success, the fact that I went through the depths of hell, the fact that I went through a training to the core, not to lose, but to win. Being bullied. I thought it was because there was something wrong with me. No, it's because I was fine shit. When God opened doors, bro, I'll tell you right now, they open quick. I heard them open. Swing. Phone call. Desiree. It says Desiree Thompson. Yes. We just wanted to let you know that a bed just opened up at Treasure Lake Job Corps. You've been approved. Boom. What? People try to make me feel so stupid, bro. Telling me, oh, you need to learn. You need to go back to school to learn how to do math. What? Guess what? Not only do I know how to do math, I passed math in ninth grade, algebra 1 and 2. The time I got back to Lawton, Oklahoma, because I was in Virginia at the time, I passed math with an a 93. The time I got back in Oklahoma, they didn't even put me in a math course. They put me, the only thing you know what they did? They put me in a math class to teach other people how to do math. I graduated math. Boom. For someone that's not good with numbers, I sure know how to count money. And I sure know how to manage. And I sure know how to balance my checkbook. What you talking about, son? Oh, we gotta talk to her. We gotta dummy it down for her. We gotta dummy it down for her to know what we're talking about. Suck my dick, bitch. Just because 10 niggas ran a train on you don't mean that shit gonna happen to me. I did not know that my own family was my own predators, bro, trying to pick at my bones. But I should have known when my brother cut all my hair off, making me bald, because he hated the fact that I was beautiful. He hated the fact that I had a beauty about me. And people would just give me shit. Hey, Desiree, you want to play Barbara? Want to know something? My hair was so long when I was a little girl. It was all the way down to my back, my mom said. My brother hated me. He burnt me with a freaking lighter from the car. He tried to burn my face. It scarred me. But it didn't take away my glory. You don't know sometimes what the protection is and why you're being protected. You know, it's so funny because I had to have a one-to-one conversation with this woman at work, a resident. And she was telling me they were so rude and they were so disrespectful to me, and I just couldn't take it no more. I had to let them know I was not standing for it. I said, you know what? As you should. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. And then she started telling me all these things that she's done in her life. And I said, you know what? You better not forget that, what you just told me. She said, what? I said, look what you've done. Look what you have created. Your children are successful. You are successful. No one could do what you've done. Don't forget who you are. She said, thank you. Thank you. And you know what I heard? I heard, you don't forget who you are either, Desiree. There in your life, you're gonna have so many things that will try to come against you, because none of us likes to hear no. None of us likes to hear that you failed, or you didn't pass the test, or that you aren't gonna get the man that you always wanted, or you're not gonna get the job that you went to school for. The answer is no. Guess what? You better not forget who you are, because nobody can do it like you did it. Nobody knows what you went through to get to where you are today. And I believe that's a word for someone. You got to clean out your ears to hear how well known you are. It's so easy for us to see the red tape. Caution. Stop. Don't go no further. But sometimes you got to rip that tape and you just got to go daring. You got to go past the red line. Sometimes you got to break your own boundaries so you can get it done. I learned how to go without thinking about what my flesh wants, but realizing it's not about what I gotta do, it's about what needs to be done. So I'm cooking. I'm waking up, not just putting thought to the for pen and pad, but I'm putting foot to work, foot on neck, busting my ass. People waiting for me to lose my Range Rover. People laughed at me when I said my Range Rover is in the shop. Try to make it seem like I was irresponsible. Oh, you're not paying your bills. You're not doing this. You're not. How the do you know what I'm doing? When I'm the one that saved your life more, not once, not twice, not 3 times. And every time you look at me, you know who I am, because when I walk in the room, you know that I was the one that told you you were sick. Funny how everybody now is starting to see what I told them. But they were like, you're disrespectful. You don't respect your elders. I don't respect my elders. I'm not going to respect somebody that's trying to steal my money. Fuck it. I got thrown out in the streets in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, after I graduated, after I put in the hard work. You want to know something, bruh? Even after your accomplishments will come attacks. I was sleeping in a, a mobile home on someone else's property. Untouched. It's so easy to get off track. I was walking every day, going 2-3 hours away from my homestead to go to a job. When I was certified to be a CNA, but I wasn't certified in that state. But you think that stopped me? People will hate you for choosing you, for loving you. But you gotta know something. If you keep thinking you gotta be for everybody and protect them, guess what? You're gonna always find yourself somewhere short. Even if you are being successful, even if you do graduate from college, even if you do get the job that you went to school for, guess what? You're living to please them. You're living to live a life that they wanted you to live, that was projected onto you, because it makes them comfortable to know that you aren't far. I lived that life. years. Thinking that I was doing right. But every day, it was like I was being watched. Like somebody, they were waiting for me to lose. They didn't want to see me grow. They wanted what they wanted. I said, but I want to be a model. You're too stupid to be a model. You got to be smart to be a model. I have a singing concert. Are you guys going to come? Oh, we're busy. Can I get advice on how to start trying to date? You got to find God first. You're lost. They took everything I had. And I was giving them everything I had. And they were stealing from me every day. Trying to tear me down. Laughing and mocking me. Wouldn't let me be happy. Told me, if you go out in the world, you'll be destroyed. Scars, pain, fear. Judged. I always said to myself that I want to be the one that people trust. Not the one that people would think would steal from them. But little did I know that I would be the one that would be targeted. See, they made me feel like I didn't have anything. I wasn't anything. I wasn't valuable. I wasn't on their level. I wasn't worthy to even be in their town or in their homes or in their car. And I was being privileged to be with them, to go to their banquets, their parties, their churches, to sit with them for their holiday events, opening thousands of trillions of presents. Being laughed at. abused for 10 years. I said to myself, it's been 6 years and these people still don't know me. They still look at me with judging eyes. 6 years. 7 years. When I got a Range Rover and I pulled up to their house, couldn't say nothing. Bro. Pain is pain. Lessons are lessons. Tears are from the soul. I can't go back. Reliving the pain over and over again. I can't go back. Thinking about what they did to me, what they stole from me. I can't go back. I can't go back to the night that I made love to the man that I'm in love with. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can only go forward. And I think to myself, what is it? Because you want to know, my whole life, I always sat down like this. And I would say, why am I here? I can't do anything for anyone. I can't read, I can't write. Nobody would miss me if I was gone. That's little Desi. My whole family shut me out, put me down. I don't know why. I never did anything to them. Nothing. But just be there 100% honest, true, open, healing, loving, understanding. But you know, God is so real. Because when I was going through everything I was dealing with, my mom told me that I was the ward of the state. I was at an 8th grade reading level. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I couldn't read. I don't know why I didn't know how my writing comprehension, everything was so off. And, you know, I said to myself, this is my fault. You know, I started taking accountability of things because I just didn't want to, I didn't see the need for school. I didn't see the need for education. I didn't see the need for it. My life was shit. And, you know, after my little brother passed away, Daniel, my life became more shit. I grew up in a way that I didn't think I was going to grow up, but a lot of us, we go through so many things in our lives that break us or make us sink or swim. When I woke up and I realized that Daniel was actually really dead, I lost my mind. I had an attack. I had a panic attack because I didn't want to believe he was gone. I thought it was a joke. Please be kidding. I saw my brother die every day. I see him die every day. Every day my brother died. Because he has seizures. And I remember how he would just have these attacks and he would just fall out to the floor and just start shaking, and I couldn't do nothing to help him. All I did was pray. It just was like, the day that he died, the last thing he said to me was, "Sister, sister, I'll be back. I'm gonna go get my towel." And I said, "Okay." I didn't protect my brother. All I know is he went back to the pool party. He went behind the gate and he never came out. And I didn't notice he didn't come out. I remember when we went back to the pool part. I remember like this, I wasn't really the girl that the kids wanted to hang out with. Maybe I was just weird. I don't know. I didn't really hang out with people like that, to be honest. I like to just stay to myself. But when we went back to the pool party, I remember Dan Wall was at the little shed where he had the floaties and stuff for the kids, and he was drunk. He'd been drinking beer. I would never forget Bud Light. And I remember me and the girls, we went back to the pool. I got in the Charlotte one, and I remember I was in the water and they were like, "Is that the girl?" The girl, Myra, said, "Is that Daniel's foot?" Dan Wall got up, he looked down, and he said, "Oh no, that's just a light bulb." The girl went into the water. She said, "No, that's Daniel." That day, my brother drowned. He said that he was, she said he was hooked to the drain, and Danwa jumped into the water. I said he jumped in like a bullet. And he went down and he got Daniel's body and he put him. He put him. He put his body on the side of the thing by the pool. By the pool, he put him on the side of the pool, and he began to give him CPR. And he threw up in his mouth. And I heard my brother take his last breath. Daniel still was alive. But the time they got him to the hospital, he died. He died. It was all in the news. It was all in the news. I miss him every day. I guess in a way, like my brother is like my little angel because I wasn't really doing that good at that time of my life. I was young and I was young and I was a child and I had a lot of care, not a lot of cares, you know. But when Daniel died, he he made me want to be a better person. And I made a vow to protect children and to and to stay aware and not to be selfish. And a lot of times people are like, you need to be selfish. Well, you know, there's a lot inside of me that a lot of people do not see. They don't see that I I really just give everything to the Lord because if it wasn't for the God, I wouldn't be able to be this strong minded. You know, when I told myself, I said that I'm gonna make it to heaven so I can see my little brother again. I miss him every day. I miss him now. I remember we had a conversation and he said, when we get older, Desiree, we're gonna get a house right next to each other. And my family's gonna know your family. I said, yeah, yeah. I had hate in my heart. I hated my older brother. I hated him. Hated him. Didn't like him. Didn't care for him. But when Daniel died, that hate went away. It really did. I forgave my brother. After losing my baby brother, I forgave Freddie. And I gave my life to God. At 12 years old, I said, God, I give you my life. I commit my soul unto you, because at the age of 12 is when I believe Jesus was like in the church or something. After Daniel died, my life went completely different. My mom and my stepdad, they moved us out of the out of that house. We was living in a big mansion. It was a big house. My stepdad was a high-ranking soldier, and they ended up moving us to the east side of Oklahoma, and we moved into a bigger house. But this one didn't have. It was one story. The one that we lived in had two stories, the upstairs, downstairs. I didn't like it. It was creepy there. But the new house, it was uh on the east side of Lawton, Oklahoma, and we lived across the street from the judge and teachers and doctors. Really big house mansions, and we got enrolled to one of the biggest. I actually started going to an elementary school around that area. I was Pioneer Park, and you know, I went to school. I made friends, and I ended up getting choir, and I started dancing there. I got enrolled into basketball. I played basketball for the girls' team. I had a really bad temper, so they always told me, they're like, Thompson, cool off. They would sit me on the bench. And I'd be like, man, that fucking bitch, I'm gonna beat her up. That's how I was always thinking. I was like, man, I'm gonna beat that bitch up. Like, I'm gonna knock her over. I remember that was the first time I experienced racism. This one little girl gonna tell me at PE, go pick my cotton, nigga. I said, you cracker? I straight up did. I sure did. I sure did. And it was funny because that was the time when we started learning about world history. Because you know, Lawton, Oklahoma was the state of the Indians. Anyway, ugh. Sometimes it's good to cry, right? Sometimes it's good to let it all out, because you know, you gotta free your mind from the things that are holding you. You know, I love my little brother a lot, a lot. I never, I never got to go to his grave. I never got to go to his grave. I never got to bring flowers to his grave. I only went to his funeral, and they did an autopsy on him and everything. And when I saw him in the casket, he had his little suit on and his hands were together. And I remember I said to myself, I know you're in heaven and I know you're with God, so I won't cry. I'll just be better. I'll be better. So that's my story. Parts of it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why it's funny because I never thought of myself as a person to start a business or even want to. Uh, but hey, you don't know where life is going to take you. You don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. A lot of things about me I never thought I would do or have. To have a Range Rover, it was only a dream. Only a dream. And the crazy thing about it is I got that Range Rover after I went through a really bad breakup. You know, and I believe that I was rewarded with that Range Rover because I didn't do anything wrong in that relationship. I did everything right. I was just with a very mean and mentally ill man who was just, ugh, something. Don't let me say it. But it's okay. Uh, it's okay. It's okay to have these type of conversations. I'd rather, I'd rather go through this life knowing that I was real, and I'd rather go through life knowing that I was only just myself, true, genuine self. Last night, yesterday night, it was about little Desi, but today it was about Desiree. Because, to be honest with you, I told Rico that I was in love with him, that I'm in love with him, and you know, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One thing I know how to do is to keep going. Facing all the adversities that I went through in my life, from being told I was disabled and I was never gonna do this and never gonna do that and never gonna have this, and I was awarded the state, being in remedial classes with children of all disabilities. Some kids couldn't even hold their own food, forks and spoons. I was in the classes where the kids had to go to lunch early because we had the handicap tables, and we were assigned to those lunch tables every day. And I would see all these kids come out laughing, joking with their friends, and we would come out before them, and we would have to go in a line. And I remember that I was embarrassed. And it made me feel unnormal. And it made me think that maybe there was something wrong with me, that I couldn't be like everybody else. Thoughts in my mind. And I remember my teacher told me that some kids learn differently than others. I didn't realize that my I was so delayed. But the truth is, I was homeschooled in by fourth grade. Me and my brother, we were homeschooled all the way until middle school. My mom one day asked us, she said, "Do you guys want to go back to school?" I said, yes. My mom, she ended up homeschooling us because when we was in elementary, she was pissed because one day they called me and my brother to the office. They said, "Can we get Freddie and Desiree to the office, please?" We ended up going to the office. We went in the office, we sat down. They kept us there for hours. We didn't know what was going on. All we knew was we was in the office. I looked at my brother. I said, "Yo, what'd you do?" He said, "Nothing. What did you do?" I didn't do anything. So he was just sitting there trying to figure out what was going on. And the principal comes out with this social worker, and they said, "Freddie and Desiree, this is so and so. She's a social worker uh for for kids." And we were like, "Okay, hi, what's going on?" I was thinking, dang, did I did they find out I cheated on something? Like, what happened? I didn't fight nobody. I wasn't disrespectful, nothing. And they said that um you're not going home. And we were like, "What do you mean we're not going home?" They were like, "You're gonna be going with this woman and she's gonna take you to a shelter." For what? They said, "It's only gonna be temporary, but you're not going back to your mom." So I was like, "We're not going home?" They said, "No, you're not going home." I said, "Can I please just go home?" They said, "I'm sorry, Desiree, you're not going home." I said, "I don't want to go with her. I don't know her." They said, "Don't worry about it. Your mom's going to be informed of everything. Your mom knows what's going on. You're not going home." And I was like, something inside me told me just go. So we walked out with the social worker. Her car was parked at the front of the school. We got in the car with her, and she drove away with me and my brother. We didn't see our mom for months. And I remember
I was in the shelter and he was there too. They said that they were going to separate us because he was about to be close to being a teen. So he was going to have to go to the teenage shelter. And I was there with the other kids, the little kids. And I remember I had to share a room with other girls. I remember there was this one girl, I got in a big fight with her. I had to beat that bitch up. I had to fight, yo, because she was trying to bully me or something. I had to let her know, yo, I'm from New York. You know what I mean? I ain't scared of you, ho. Never was gonna be. They were like, oh my God, stop them, stop them. Yo, after I fought her, she looked at me. They sat us in the kitchen and she looked at me and I looked at her and she said, she she gave me the approval of respect. Yeah, I had to let her know. I'm with it. 9%, 100%. I'm with it. But yeah, they took us away from our mother, and I remember I cried a lot. You know, it's so crazy. They took me out of the room with the other girls, and they put me in the room with the babies. And I remember I would be in that room, and there would be a crib and pacifiers and binkies and baby blankets, baby toys. But there was no babies in there. It was just me. And I don't understand why they put me in there, but they did. And I remember we had routines where we had to come out. We had to get ready. They get us ready for school. They got us. We wore what they gave us. Put us on the bus. Send us back to the school. I had to go to school acting like nothing was going on. And the whole entire time I was confused about everything. And then one day they said, Desiree. I said, yes. They said, you're going to go see your mom today. I said, I'm going to go see my mom. They said, yeah. I said, where is she? They said, we'll take you to her. We're going to take you to her. And they ended up putting me and my brother together. We got in the car with the social worker. She ended up driving us to this surface services building. And they put us in this cubicle. And they said, your mom is going to be here shortly. And I said, okay. Bro, my mom, she came up in there. Oh, she was hot. My mom was pissed. She said, this is not going to be for long. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? Why are we not with you? Why did they take us away? She said, because they think that you're being abused. And I was like, what? But you never hurt us. You never hit us. You never done anything like that to us. She said, I know. And, bro, I don't understand. I don't know how it happened. I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't. I was just a kid. And I remember we ended up having to go to court. And they said, Desiree, Freddie, you guys got to go with us to the courthouse. And I was like, oh, okay. So we ended up going to the courthouse. And we walked away with our mother that day. And then she pulled us out of school. She homeschooled us. A lot of stuff that I was learning, I wasn't even at that level of education. I was learning stuff about doctors, stuff shit. I was learning about first degree, second degree burns. I was learning about how to be a nurse. Really. I don't remember what she was teaching Freddie. I think he was learning the same thing. And then my mom finally got tired of us being at the house. I'll tell you right now, we were homeschooled. I don't know what was going on. I really don't. All I know was I was still at a fourth grade level. And that shit's crazy, bro. I mean, like, we literally did not go to school for like years. Like, so fourth, fifth, sixth. I skipped 2 years of school. I didn't go to fifth grade and I didn't go to sixth grade. I don't even think I went to, did I go to seventh? I think I did go to seventh grade. But yeah, yeah. I end up going back to school. Seventh grade, I went back to school. School, everybody was different. The kids, I didn't have any friends. I didn't know nobody. Like all that time, bro, we was just in the house being sheltered. My mom wouldn't let us go outside. We wasn't able to go outside. We was only able to go play in the backyard. It was, I don't know what was going on. I really don't. I just know that I stayed in my room a lot. I woke up. I don't know, bro. I don't know what my mom was doing. I don't know where she went. I remember one day, I still didn't see what they meant when they said abuse. I remember when we went to the courthouse, they were checking our body for bruises. But there was none on me. And I don't know if there was any on Freddie, but there was none on me. And I remember when I was in high school, I was in 8th grade. And I called my mom. She didn't answer. She didn't ever come home. I was so worried. When I went to school, I completely just broke down. And my teachers were like, "What's wrong, Desiree?" I said, "My mom, she didn't come home. And I'm worried about her. I don't know where she is. I don't know what's going on." I remember how confused I was. I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. She always came home, but she didn't come home. I just couldn't understand her. I couldn't understand what was going on with my mother. You know, she was a pastor. She gave her life to God. You know, my mom, she was a hood chick. She a for real, my mom is a thug. People out here in upstate New York don't even mess with my mom. They be like, "Oh no, not Janice. No." My older brother, to this day, he's scared of our mother. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But she didn't come home. She didn't come home, and it was so disruptive to me because I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on with my mother. And, she did a lot of things that didn't make sense at all. She always tried to keep food in the house, though. But, to be honest, the neglect and the abuse started happening when my brother went to Afghanistan, when he went into the military. My mom stopped putting food in the house. She stopped paying the water and electricity. I was still in high school. She stopped coming home. I would sleep in the dark. I would have to do my schoolwork during the day. At night, I would have to lay next to a candle in this big house. And from school, I would have to use the light somehow to do my hair. I would have to take cold showers. And my clothes wasn't clean. I wouldn't see my mom sometimes for days. She said she was working. One day she came home, she told me that we had to move. I said, where are we going? Oh, you're gonna love it, Desiree. It's such a beautiful home. It's better than this right now. We can't stay here. I can't afford it. The bills are too backed up. And I said, okay. So then I remember I got so angry with her. She was acting weird. Uh, she was forcing me to move all that shit. It was just me and her. She pulled up in this big ass U-Haul, and that was a big ass house. We had couches, we had washing machine and dryer. She had 2 living rooms, a patio. She had 2 living rooms, a patio, 4 bedrooms, bedroom sets, clothes. She had a whole garage of clothes that went from the front to the back of the garage all the way to the front, bruh. And I remember we only had 3 days to get all that stuff out the house. My mom was acting weird, and I remember I was hungry and tired, and we've been moving all day. I was just a kid, and I was a girl. I was trying my best. She wanted me to pick up this washing machine. Shit was heavy as fuck. I tried, and I accidentally dropped it. She got so mad. She was so angry at me. I told her I didn't mean to. The washing machine was just too heavy. She started going off on me, calling me all kinds of things, putting me down, hurting my feelings, making me feel like shit. I told her, I said, I don't know why you're acting like this towards me. I've been helping you with all of this moving shit. This is a lot. I gotta go to school tomorrow. I was like, I told her, I said, I'm not coming back here. I told her I'm running away. The next day, I went to school. It was a normal day. My mom wasn't home. Matter of fact, I think she left that whole night. I went to school like I wasn't dealing with any of this shit. I was sitting in class with my best friend. I think we were in ROTC, and they called me to the office. I went to the office. I went to the office, and I'm greeted by the police. They arrested me. They said, you're under arrest. I said, for what? They said elder abuse. Your mother said you threw a microwave at her, and we had to book you. We had to take you in. I said, but sir, it's not true. I was helping her move a washing machine and I accidentally dropped it. They didn't care. Everybody watching me get arrested and put in a police car. My whole they took me to this building. And they kept me there 24 hours where I was being watched through a window.
And I had to sit in this room with this other girl. I met this other girl. She was there. I never forgot why she was there. But I was sitting in there, and there was chairs, and they gave us a blanket and a pillow. And I remember I said, God, please. I said, God, please, please, don't let this break me. I said, I don't know why my mother did this to me, but I just ask you to please give me strength. And I remember I just laid my head down on on the chair, and I just prayed. I just prayed because it was attack after attack. I was going through everything in quiet, in secret, being mistreated, being abused, being lied on, defamation of character. My mom was lying on me in the streets, saying I was doing all kinds of shit that I never was doing. The next day, they say, Thompson, you're free to go. Your mom's here. I tell you, I was pissed. I was hot. I didn't even want to see her. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to hear her voice. Nothing. My mother was so wicked. When I got in the car with her, she was laughing at me. She said, next time you're going to do what I tell you to do, right? I said, you lied on my name. You said I abused you. I threw a microwave at you. Bro, when I tell you my fucking blood was boiling, I got out of the car when it was still moving. I didn't want to be around her. I was pissed. My everything inside of me was done. She told me that you will never go back to that school again. I said, why not? Because we don't live in that district. I took you out of the school. You took me out of my high school. I'm supposed to graduate this year. You're going to Lawton High. I'm going to Lawton High School. Yep.
and we don't live in that house anymore. So you finished the move? How did you get all the stuff out? I got people to help me. So where do we live, Mom? I'm taking you there now, honey. We lived on the corner of Berry, Kingsbury. First night, crackheads already climbing through the window, trying to get through the wash, trying to get through into the house. She told me that I was going to have to walk to school because we were too close to the school, so I would have to walk. You took me from one of the best schools in the state, and you made me go to Lawton High. When I had to walk to school, I cried a lot. I cried. But then, you know what I did? My mom bought him a car before he left. A nice red, I forgot what kind of car it was, but it was fire. It was red. It had a system. It had 22s. It worked. You know what the fuck I did? Who walking to school? Not me. Took the keys to that bitch. Didn't even have a driver's license, not even a permit. Drove it every day to school. I did that. If you're going to put me in the hood and you're going to just take me out of school, ruin my name, try to ruin my character, betrayed me, called the police on me, lied and said I abused you, I'm taking this car. After that, I got in a relationship with this boy named Terrell. He was terrible. Put his hands on me. Broke my windows out of my car. Put a gun to my back. Nigga was trifling. And when I would break up with him and say I'm done with him, he tried to go be with my friends. Have my best friend call me talking about, so Desiree, how long were you and Terrell in a relationship? This my homegirl Kiki calling me about my nigga. I was like, we was in a relationship for a while. Why? What's up? Oh, you a fucking liar. I ain't never date you. Oh, so you on the phone with this nigga? You gonna call my phone on three-way with this nigga on the other phone, on the other line. Nigga, you know what the fuck it was. What you mean? Nigga, you lived with me. And I kicked your ass out ever since when you started putting your hands on me. What you talking about? Ha, he said he was with you, blah, blah, blah. I said, so what, you trying to be with my ex? What's up with you? And I got the phone with her. I said, you can have him, Kiki. He ain't shit. Nigga was so trifling. Him and his cousin robbed me blind while I was at work. Me and my mom, he came in, stole our 75-inch TV. Then that nigga started messing around with my this new homegirl I started chilling with, Taz. Psh, that bitch was stupid, man. She gonna ask me, oh, can I bring Terrell over? He wants to stay the night. I said, you want to bring my ex over here? What the fuck? She was like, yeah. I said, yeah, go ahead, whatever. Nigga came over, kissing and hugging up on this chick, all in front of me. I didn't give a you think I cared? I knew what this nigga was. Like, no. And then when she leave the room, he gonna say to me, Desiree, come on, baby. You know what it is. You know you my boo. You on that grown shit. She a kid. She ain't with it like us. I was like, nigga, you think I'm about to fuck you? And she in the other room, and this is your new girlfriend? Are you dumb? Never. Nigga was tight. That nigga was so mad. He pulled out. I remember the day I confronted him about my TV. I was with Taz. This nigga, they took me over to him and his cousins. I remember I was sitting outside of the apartments. That nigga came up. He said, Desiree. I was like, what? He said, pop, pop. Blanks. Blanks. I started smoking weed with Taz. It was the first time. I was 18 when I first started I smoked my first blunt. I was 18 when I drank my first bottle of alcohol. I was hanging out with people that were low down, dirty, trifling as F. I was around the Crips, the Bloods, drug dealers. My best friend's boyfriend was a drug dealer. That nigga got killed. Got set up. Killed him. And I think they killed him and his cousin and his brother. I think they did. I can't remember. I don't think they killed his brother. I don't remember, but they killed him. Shot him blood cold. Left his body in a freaking SUV. My homegirl was so devastated, bro. She was bleeding. Her nose started bleeding at the funeral. Yup. I remember one night I was at my homegirl's before her man died, and I was hanging out with her sister Deja. Deja was cool with these Indian dudes that lived behind like around the block from my homegirl. And I remember they rolled up a blunt, and I remember the blunt was shiny. It was like a wrap or something. I don't know if it was wet. I don't know. I was young, and I remember we was in a tent or something outside, and she was there though, and I was high. Oh my God, I was so high, and I think I was drunk because I was trying to outdrink her. Anyway, I was so high and so drunk. I threw up on my clothes and she changed me. She put me just in a jersey. She didn't give me no pants, just a jersey. I was pissed, but I didn't even realize that shit. I was lit. And I remember she walked in the hood from her house to my house, all the way to Kingsbury to go get my mom. Man, my mom came up in there. She was like, Desiree, get up. Let's go. I was like, fuck. And then I remember Danielle, that was my friend who went and got my mom. She said, thank you, Danielle. I got it from here. Danielle was like, I'm just going to go with you to make sure she gets home. Danielle noticed there was something off about my mom that night. My mom was not taking me home. Danielle was like, Miss Thompson, where are you going? This is not the way to your house. My mom was taking me to a mental institution. She was trying to get me admitted. Danielle was in the car when my mom parked us at the hospital, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Desiree. I did not know your mom was going to do this. I thought she was just going to take you home and take care of you. I said, Danielle, my mother only wants money. She don't give a fuck about me. My mom came back in the car, pissed. Danielle said, so what they say? They can't take her because they said that she's under the influence, and they can't declare someone to be crazy if they're under the influence. So my mom was so mad. She was driving and she pulled over the police. My mother pulled over the police herself. They said, ma'am, what seems to be the problem? She said, my daughter is drunk and she's underage and she's wild and she's not acting normal and all this shit. So they end up pulling me aside. They said, young lady, are you okay? I said, yes, officer, I'm fine. They was like, what's going on? I said, my mother is mad because she was trying to admit me into a mental institution, but they said that they weren't going to take me because she told them that I was drunk, and they said they can't declare if anybody's crazy if they're drunk. They said, okay, that's enough. The police said, ma'am, get your daughter home safe. You know what my mom did? My mother put me and Danielle in the car. And she took me to Taft Street, where the prostitutes are. And she told me, get the fuck out my car. I said, Mom, why are you doing this? Get the fuck out my car. So, thankfully, my friend was still there with me. So she threw me and Danielle out the car on Taft Street in the hood. She pulled off. Right when she pulled off, now mind you, I just have a jersey on. So when she pulled off, the same police officers that she pulled over pulled up. They said, ladies, get in the car with us. I said, aren't you guys the same cops that we just seen? They said, yeah, we noticed there was something off about your mother. So we decided to follow her. Where do you need to go? So Danielle took me back to her house. And she let me sleep on her couch. But then the next day, Danielle told me I had to leave because my mom came over there. You better give me my daughter. I'm gonna fuck you up. Da 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 da. My mom went crazy, bruh. She said, I'm gonna get the police and tell them that you kidnapped my daughter. Da 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 da. All this weird shit. And then Danielle was like, Desiree, I'm sorry, but you have to go because this is too much drama. I said, I understand. So I end up calling the only person I knew. I called Miss Clarice. I said, Miss Clarice, can I stay with you for a little bit? My mom is acting weird. She said, Desiree, where are you? I told her where I was. Then Miss Clarice came and got me. You know, my mom was really out to destroy my name. She went around town telling people that I was a prostitute, walking around the street with just a jersey on. Wasn't true. I stayed with Miss Clarice for a week. Miss Clarice told me, she said, Desiree, if you're going to stay here, you're going to work. I said, I understand. I said, what have I got to do? She said, clean my house. I said, okay. Here I am, kicked out of school. Couldn't go home because my mom was acting crazy. Didn't have a transportation, nothing. 17, 16 years old. Dealing with this shit. I remember Miss Clarice woke everybody up in the house, including me. She had foster kids. She sent all her kids to school that day and she said, Desiree, here's your chores. I said, okay. She said, I want you to clean this house. The bathroom, the handles on the door, even the walls. I don't care. You better clean it. The dishes, my bathroom. I cleaned from sunup. I cleaned from 6 a.m. to 2:45 in the afternoon. She had me clean that whole house. I didn't mind. It was better than where I was, I could tell you that. I don't know why my mother was attacking me the way she was, hurting me the way she was. It was just so negative, like the environment, being around her, everything was so negative. And then when we got robbed, she was so mad. She blamed me for it. She said I set her up. She told me that I was never going to be anything. I wasn't going to have a husband. No man would ever want to marry me. Man, the shit got worse. My mom wasn't paying the bills at the new house. So, same thing was happening. Bills weren't getting paid. So shit was getting cut off. And that was not a place to be living in the dark. I tell you that. That was not the place. But I remember she told me that we gotta go. We can't stay here. I said, Mom, what is going on? What's going on with the money? Don't you work? She'll be gone every day. She'll go from 6:45 and won't come home until sometimes the next day. I literally was by myself. I had no one there with me. And then sometimes she would be getting admitted into the hospital because of high blood pressure. Some weird shit. And I would just be there by myself. But then I remember one day, my mom was trying to find a new place to live. But she didn't have money. But I did. Because after I got kicked out of high school, you know, Miss Clarice told me I was gonna have to work, so I ended up getting a job at Cece's Pizza. And I was working there for a little bit until they started cutting my hours. And then the guy was getting mad weird, and then they threw me outside trying to get more people to come in, and then some weird ass dude tried to snatch me, put me in his car and weird shit, and I told him, I said, I'm not staying here. Then I got a job at I got another job somewhere else. I started working for Texas Roadhouse. I was a baker. I used to bake the bread, but I got really sick. I was dehydrated, didn't have enough water, so I got really sick, so I lost my position. And then I got a job at Swanson's to work as a server. Oh man, I started making so much money. I made like $900 every 2 weeks. Just bring home $900. And you know, my mom one day called me. She was like, the cops called me. They said, hey, is this Desiree Thompson? I said, yeah, this is Desiree Thompson. They said, there's a warrant for your mother's arrest. I said, what? They said, yeah. She needs $1,100 to get bailed out. I said, 11? What the fuck? So I ended up paying her out, bailing her out. And then she said, I'm just gonna pay you back, blah, blah, blah. She ended up paying me some of the money, not all, I don't think. And then eventually, you know, she started acting mad weird again. And, you know, when I started making money, you know, she was acting different with me when I was making money. And around that time, I had to take my driver's test because I couldn't depend on her. She was never nowhere to be found. I was literally defending for myself. And I had to get a car. And I knew I had a job. So I was like, shoot, I got a job. That means I got money. That means I can get a car. But at the time, I was young, so I didn't really have a credit. I didn't have good credit. I didn't have bad credit. I was in the, you know what I mean, the beginning stages. So I end up studying for my driver's test. I end up passing the fourth time. Then I end up getting a permit. I got my driver's permit. I was 19. So they told me, like, since you're 19 or whatever, you can take your driver's test anytime to get your driver's license. I said, bet. So around that time, I was working on Fort Sill. I was working 8-hour shifts. I was working at the DFACT, and I was making good money. And I ended up taking my driver's test, and I ended up passing. I ended up buying me a Ford. I ended up buying me a Ford, but it was a lemon. That shit broke down, so it didn't last long, you know. So yeah, I was without a car. My mom didn't want to take me to work. We ended up moving into the trailer park. I had to pay for the trailer. Everything was in my name: water, electricity, because my mom's name was shit. And shit, well, my mom didn't want to take me to work. She's like, you need to figure it out. Get your own self to work. I'm like, Mom, are you serious? She was dead ass serious. She was taking herself to work, but she wasn't taking me. But then she told me she got fired. So then she tells me, Desiree, listen, I don't have money for the rent this month. And we're going to be on the streets. I'm like, what? She told me. She told me that she didn't have it. At this time, I was talking to Rico. Me and Rico was really getting serious, Like, I love that man so fucking much, bro. I had my friend Nicolette. I was just going through so much shit, and she told me that we was gonna be on the street. I said, Mom, if you would have took me to work, I could have been able to help you. She said, that's not what we're talking about. I'm letting you know where we're currently at financially. I said, Mom, how much money do we need? She said, we need $500. And I said, we need that when? She said, we need it by this week. I said, how are we going to get this money? I said, I can go to amateur night. I know, what was that place called? Illusions? I guess Club Illusions are doing amateur night for strippers on Thursdays. I can dance. She said, oh, Desiree, I don't want you to do that. Are you sure? I said, Mom, I don't want to be on the street. So all of a sudden, my mom coming home with wigs, lingerie sets, but we ain't got no money. So she drives me up to the Club Illusions. She goes in with me. I said, I'm here for amateur night. And they said, oh, have you ever danced before? I said, no. They're like, okay, go to the back. I remember, here I am. Mind you, I was raised in a Christian home. My mother, she fell somewhere. And whatever addiction had her, it had me too. Because she was willing to sell me. to get whatever it is she needed. I remember I called Rico. I told him, I said, Rico, I'm going to the strip club for amateur night. He said, why? I said, because we need the money. And my mom, she don't have it. He said, Desiree, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Just come to me. Just come here. Come to me. I said, I'm sorry. And I hung up the phone. When we got to the strip club, it was empty. It was Thursday. My mother was treated with VIP treatment because I was the stripper that she brought up in there. I remember when I went to the back, I had to go into the locker room where all the strippers go. I met a few, talked to a few. Some had no choice but to be there because of their pimps. Some were being beat to be there. And some, that's all they knew how to get money. And I was there to get money too. When I walked out, the place was packed. They called me out. The man said, hey, what do you want to be called? I said, what do you mean? What do you want your stage name to be? I said, Cherry. I walked out on that stage, thigh-high boots on, with chains wrapped around them. Same boots I wore when I went to high school. Nothing but a lingerie set, ass out, young, innocent. Just trying to pay the bills. I'm dancing. I look over my mom, she's sitting over there having good conversation, sitting in VIP booth, drinks on the house, watching me, watching me. Like she was my pimp. She was. She was. That made $500, probably more. Put it in a shoebox. Gave it to her. We weren't on the streets. I said, I know that. That money was gone. And she wanted more. She came home more often. With wigs, jewelry, costumes for me. Willing to drive me to the... I said, Mom, I was only going to do it for a week. She said, this isn't going to be enough. We need more. Driving me back out there. I remember. It was one of the biggest nights. Mad people was there. I guess somebody was doing like a music video or something. I remember. I know I'm finding a bitch. I said, I don't even gotta go out there. I can go out there in shorts and a tank and I still make money. And I did. Niggas was giving me more money because I had clothes on. I remember they called all the strippers to the stage, including me. They were like, you gotta get out there and you gotta dance. This is the same night the big boss came down and requested me for a VIP dance, private dance. He said, Cherry, you know you've been doing this for a week now. It's like, yeah. He's like, you know you're gonna have to get with the program now. So what you mean? He said, you're gonna have to start taking clothes off. Oh, okay. While he's sitting here giving me all his money. I remember that night so well because I was looking around and I saw all the girls going crazy. Then all the strippers came out on the stage. They was doing their best tricks and taking off their tops and shaking it. And I was standing on the stage, and I remember I was looking at them just jumping. I mean, they were drop popping, locking it on dollar bills, and I looked and I heard, do you want to do this just for $1? I walked off the stage. It was like everything was moving in slow motion. And I confronted my mother and I said, Mom, you would bring me to a strip club to dance for money. Willingly. Buy me clothes for it, costumes, wigs, anything I want. But you could never do this for my education. I asked you to help me when I was struggling with reading and writing, and you couldn't even do that. But you can bring me to a strip club. I'm not doing this. And then she disappeared. Again, leaving me to defend for myself. I don't know where she went. I don't know what she was doing. But she wasn't the same. She started dressing more seductive. It was like, fuck you. Figure it out. I'm taking care of me. I remember one day, she was so mean to me for no reason. Didn't do nothing to her. The house was filthy. The house was filled with all her shit. I mean, it was clothes stacked up so high that you can literally climb. You had to climb to get over to the living room. To get to the kitchen, you had to go through a whole motherfucking maze. And she had a spot in the living room where she had a clear spot for her to lay on the couch. Her room full of shit. Bed was covered in clothes. The kitchen was covered in clothes and shit. The living room was covered in clothes all the way into the hallway. And in my room, in my bathroom. I remember one day my mother told me that I wasn't gonna be shit. That I might as well just kill myself. I almost wanted to. I was holding this hanger in my hand. And I just wanted to slice my own wrist. I wasn't doing so good. She isolated me. She kept me away from people that actually cared about me and told me no one did. Told me I wasn't nothing. I wasn't gonna be nothing. People say maybe that's how she was raised. That's probably how her mother treated her. Like shit. Well, I don't give a fuck. How about that? That has nothing to do with me. She treated me how she wanted to treat me. And let me tell you, when my brother came home from war, because he had to come home, he saw and he was disgusted. He saw that we lived in a trailer park. He saw that there was no food in the house. Oh, but best believe, guess what? When Freddie came home, she put food in the house. She cooked. She cleaned. She gave a fuck. But when it was me, nope. Nope. She didn't care. She didn't care about me. She wanted to pimp me She wanted to use me for money until I told her no more. Everybody, you know, Miss Clarice only wants to take you out and get you out there in the world so she can use you and pimp you and prostitute you and treat you and take your money. Nobody can be trusted, Desiree. Everybody wants to use you. Nobody really wants you for you. But then I'm looking around and I'm like, really, Mom? Believing every word she telling me. Only person I got. I asked God to get me away from her. She didn't want me to be shit. She was willing to watch me lose myself. I was in places that a young girl should never be. I was around people who were doing ice. Didn't know that was heroin. I was around men who abused women, threw them out like they weren't shit. I was in a very bad place. My friend, Nicolette, you know, she wasn't perfect, but she cared about me. She saw that I didn't have no food. So she was like, Desiree, let's go to the dollar store. I said, why? So we can go get snacks. I said, oh yeah, okay, I am hungry. So she would put on my coat and we would go in the dollar store. And she was like, I don't really see anything here or anything. I was like, yeah, me either. And we would go out, we would walk out. And I remember we would have to cross over the rocks to get to the dollar store because it was like a little ways away from my house. And Nicolette, when she got so far, we would get to the rocks and she was like, here. I was like, Nicolette, how did you get that? Desiree, I stole it. You stole food from me? She stole a lot than just that. She emptied that jacket out with so many snacks. And I couldn't believe it. All I could think was thank you. Because I didn't have money. I was just sitting in the house with nothing. Even though I was going through what I was going through, God still had people protecting me from the harm that was searching and lurking for me. In a way, I just, Rico kind of made me really hurt more than I needed to. But I needed the hurt. I needed the pain. I needed someone to set things in perspective. I remember one night he called me and he told me that he said, I think I love you. I remember him saying that to me. But he doesn't remember what he said after that. And what he said after made me realize that if I don't pick myself up now, if I don't take the initiative to build myself, education, financially, spiritually, and get away from this, whatever this is, this toxicity, this evil shit, then I would be exactly what my mother said I was gonna be, and that was nothing. Nothing. So I began to move. I began to get my shit together. I began to make room for the beginning of a new. God took me away from my mother because she was destroying me. She wanted to use me for her own gain. See, my mother is 71 years old now. And I always felt a responsibility to protect her, to help her, to be there for her. Because she told me I had to. She told me that that I was the ward of the state. No one was gonna want me. Nobody was gonna want me. And I couldn't understand why. Why wouldn't no one want me? And I believed it. So I wanted me. God wanted me. And Treasure Lake Job Corps wanted me. And that's when the bed appeared. They said the bed is open. You can come now. When I tell you a white van came and picked me up with just my suitcase. I walked out of those doors of that trailer park. And I got in that van. And it drove me far away. And I could breathe. I knew that I made the right decision. And I didn't worry about my mother. Nothing. I end up getting a Job Corps and making friends, talking to a counselor, getting my grades, focusing on my education, getting a trade, becoming a CNA, becoming a leader, becoming a good friend. I was a sister to so many young girls. You know, I went through a hard time, but God let me see myself. He let me see me for who I was and who I wasn't. I got my shit together. I started getting more organized. I learned how to take care of myself. I had meals 3 times a day. And it wasn't just given to me, I had to work for it. And I learned to cook. And I learned to clean. And I learned how to manage. Even though I had a hard time with certain things, I remember when I had to take the test to determine what level of education I was going to be on. I failed really bad because I was lazy. I didn't want to read it. I didn't want to do it. I hated the shit. I was aggravated, but you know what? It was a lesson because I failed. And because I failed, I had to stay in education longer than what I was supposed to. And a lot of people was like, when are you going to get out of education? When are you going to get out of that maroon? Because everybody in education had to wear a certain color. We literally had to wear uniforms. And I got to wear a uniform every day. Tan tack khaki pants with a maroon top. And let me tell you, all the guys wanted me. Believe me. The dudes was obsessed. I didn't care at all. I wasn't there for men. I was there for my life. I was there for my education. You know. And I remember one day my mom came up with more of my stuff after she sold all of my shit. And she gave me what was left over. I ain't lying. She sold my stuff. I had nice high heel boots. I had nice shit. She sold all of that for money. Money that was just disappearing. One day she came up again to my to the campus and she was like, Desiree, I need money. Do you have any money? Can you help me? I need money. I need like some money. I said, listen, my dad gave me money for a card, but it's only $200. She said, that's all I need. Just get that. Yeah, I'll take that, please, honey. And I gave it to her. And then one day, when everything seemed to change, when my life began to be arranged and God brought me home, all of the things that were hidden in the shadows and I did not know began to show. And a knock at my door came unalluring, and it was her standing out waiting for me, just to lay on the couch to tell me her story, and then I do everything began to make sense to me again. And I grew, watching the only one, my only person, shedding the truth. And then the privilege came, and then I began to find out everything became so real to me. God wanted me to know the truth, even if it meant to die, even if it meant to bear new scars. Everything that I went through was because anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking about this. I think I talked about it enough. You know, it's crazy, but it's not crazy. I I'm okay. I'm nothing that my mother said I was going to be. My parents were addicts and they had their addictions. It tore our family apart. Everything I had to see. Oh, it hurt. But it brought me to reality. And I can breathe. I could stand up and say, well, that's the end of that, right? I don't know if my mother ever got help, but she's still alive. And she tells me she's proud of me. But I keep her at a distance because I know her. I know the true her. And I am very protective of me. I don't talk to my brother anymore. None of them. My mom tells me to stay away from my sisters. Don't mess with them. Whatever. I don't even care at this point anymore. You know, I look around my life and I think, you know, once she's gone, I won't have anyone. I'm scared of that. But I never had anyone. I mean, yeah, she was there for me. But it came with a price. It came with a cost. It came to me either losing my peace or losing parts of me. Yeah, I get tired sometimes because I'm the only one in my family. They say I don't have anything. That sucks. When I've been the one that's given all I got to other people, to other families. And I just want to be happy. So, yeah, I do get obsessive about Rico. And I really do try to apply hope and faith to think that maybe I could have just. Anyway, my memory is overloading. But honestly, no matter what you go through in your life or who put you through it, you are strong enough to fight, to win, to get up, and to make something happen. Even if it looks impossible, even if it looks like you're at the end and you're going to lose, you just got to keep going, bro. I wasn't, you think as a girl, you'd be the one that was more spoiled and more catered to. Well, not me. I was the one who was always put down, told that I wasn't smart enough. My mom always told me I was pretty, though. I don't care. I don't really never care about my looks, bro. She used to always tell me, "You're conceited. You're just conceited." I never was. I just never was conceited. I just never was. She always made me feel some type of way around her men. Tried to make it seem like I wanted her man. I don't want your nigga. And to be honest with you, I believe she hooked me up with one of her men, Andrew. This dude. She used to always go to the library. I remember she would always go to the library. And there was this guy named Andrew there. And I don't know what it was, but I think there was something going on with that. Seriously. To this day, she talks about him. But anyway, yeah. And I know one day she called me one day. She was like, "Hi." I was like, "Hi." I was like, "What's going on, Mom?" She's like, "Well, you've been talking to my man." I'm like, "What?" Slow down. So, I've come to the realization that I am alone. Um, I pray that I'm doing right, but I'm starting to think that even if I do right, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. It really don't. Because, you know, I'm still the only one in my family that don't have nobody. I have nobody. I don't have a house. I don't have that shit. But that's okay. I mean, I got God, and I know God loves me, and I know that, the saying, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I believe that I'm in my era of receiving. It doesn't matter if I'm a good person. It doesn't matter if I'm a bad person. It don't matter. What matters is my soul and my intentions. And if you hate me, you hate me. If you love me, you love me. I don't care. I know who I am. And I know that God loves me. And I know that God has given me everything that I desire. See, I could have gone in my life with the unknowing of the truth. Could have got married, had kids, all this stuff. I didn't know nothing. Just know what I was told instead of doing the research. And I did do the research. And I can tell you right now, this one little gray hair is not there just because. It's there because I got wisdom. I got 2 gray hairs now. Ugh. Yep, I got wisdom. I'm wise. Is it 3? Let's see. Is it 2 or 3? I don't even know. I'm not ashamed to grow old. I'm not ashamed to grow. I'm not ashamed to learn. I'm not ashamed to hurt. I'm not ashamed to show the world my tears or to say my story. I'm not. What I would be ashamed of is never meeting me. Because out of all of this, with everything I've gone through, I'm still alive. I'm still here. And I'm winning every day. Because I am not delusional. I'm aware of it all. And it's early in the morning, so I did this because maybe somebody out in the world needed to know. Sometimes what you go through is because the scars that are being created are just the scars and wounds that will eventually be what makes you who you are. So don't let those setbacks, the delays, the isolation, the hardship, the loneliness, the fear consume your life. Don't let it make you think that you aren't worthy of love, of being seen, of being heard, to be a teacher or to be a leader. Just be great. Sometimes your villains in your story don't always look like your villain, or who would be the one to betray you, to stab you in the back, to make you break. Let me tell you something. If your own parent can't break your mind, you're really not the person to fuck with, right? You really are someone that no one needs to be messing with. Because you've been trained to stay strong. And you know what? Another thing is, if you made up your mind about something, just know you already made up your mind. Don't go in this life thinking, oh, my life is such a sad story. Listen, if you want to win, if you want to overcome these moments in your life where you crying a lot, you know, it's crazy because, you know, I was so hungry. No, not hungry. I don't know. I was so sick yesterday. I was really sick. I didn't feel good at all. But it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel yourself. I don't know. I think, in a way, my mother was telling me her story, and I think she didn't want the same thing to happen to me. But again, if I was dealing with one of the most manipulative person ever, I can handle any other kind of person. I don't care. So let's teach her. What are the ones that are like behind the schools or mentors? Sometimes it's just your parent. I think my mother is a good person, but she's been through a lot. And I can tell that she has a trusting personality like me. But truth is, I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. I don't even trust a man. Even though I love Rico, Luana Henderson, I don't trust him. Nope. I don't trust you, nigga. I don't trust nobody but God and me. They say trust is earned. Listen. trust is a lesson. Either you do or you don't. You know what I mean? You can, you can stay at home crying about your bills, crying about what happened to you in the past, or you can pack all your shit and do something courageous. You can take risk instead of staying broken mindset, staying in the it's all my fault, or why did this happen to me? I don't understand. Oh, you don't understand why it happened to you because you let your guard down. You let your guard down, and that's why that happened to you. It wasn't because you were stupid. It wasn't because you were naive. It wasn't because you were a girl or you were a boy or because you were young. It was because your guard was down. How do you think people can get you? You let your guard down. But guess what? I'm the type of person that would play with fire. I dare you to show me who you are. I do. Do it. Show me who you are, so I can play it. So I know how to be with you accordingly. You understand what I'm saying? This one chick I met in Seattle, Washington, she was a traveling CNA, had a really bad BBL. Her ass was looking strange. Have you ever seen them little um peanut heads from the Proud Family movie? Yeah, that's how her ass was looking, like one of them. She was like, yeah, I told him to make it real big. Oh, B, he did something to you. He did something. Believe me, I could see it. We all can see it, and it ain't, and the ass and the calves don't match. You don't match. Let's just be real. So anyway, yeah. So this chick, she invited me to go with her to the concert to see City Girls. Okay, yeah, I'll go with you, homie. I got a car, whatever. I'll pick you up. We can go. I go pick her up. She got a bottle. She got a little drink or whatever. So whatever or not. At that time, I was drinking alcohol. Ain't gonna lie. So this bitch tried to play with me, talking about, oh, since I brought a little bottle and you had some of it, can you buy the other bottle from the liquor store? The fuck I look like, ho? I ain't buying shit. No, I just took you to a concert. And you didn't give me no gas money, so we even. Oh, now I see how you move. Oh, good. I'm glad you do. Never spoke to me again, and I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad she didn't. Don't speak to me. Shit. You think I give a fuck? You think I care about what you think of me? Bitch, I just bought over a $2,000 McLaren jacket. I don't give a fuck. You don't pay my bills. You ain't paying for my car. And I'm not going to buy a big ass bottle to drink. Where? So I can park in the hood where people are getting car robbed? No. Bye. Go back to your cubicle. She was rude. Talking about, actually, I just want to go home. Oh, okay. Go home, bitch. Because I don't want to buy a bottle. I think how you move. Thinking, I got to do something for you. That's not how life go. You do it. Duh. That's what you did. You did that. You was the one that brought a little ass bottle and was like, hey, you want some? Knowing that you was going to try to manipulate me to buy a $35 to $100 bottle. Bitch, who doing that? You think I trust you? I don't know you. You think I'm going to get drunk with you and then stay the night in your cubicle? Absolutely fucking not. I'm not staying with you. I
don't know you. And if you let somebody do some surgery like that on your ass, you think I'm gonna be around somebody like you? Absolutely not. You're weird. And you think you all that because your ass is just sticking out like whoop whoop a doop. Never. One girl told me, never trust a pretty face and a nice smile. Don't. True. Truth be told. I met this girl last night. It was her birthday. Her name was Skylar. No, it wasn't. She had a Charlotte Patron drink, and I spilled it accidentally. Went and got her another one. She tried to give me the cup that was in her other hand. I was like, she said, look, I'll drink it. I don't give a fuck if you drinking that shit. You think I give a fuck? You think I care? I said, listen, I only drink wine, but thank you. I don't know. I don't trust people like that. I learned my lesson. I don't be trusting people. Ooh. Oh, yeah, no. Only one. Two. And there's a few people I do trust, and there's a few I don't. They hurt you once, they'll do it again. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it. You think I got time to be getting got? Who getting got? Got by who? You showed me already your colors. I be trying to process certain shit in my head, and I be like, yo, why would I keep on doing stupid shit to myself if I already know the outcome? I hate it. The only thing I can do for myself is listen to my intuition and be like, yeah, we ain't doing that shit. We not doing that. We not doing that. No. So many times somebody tried to play with my faith. It made me feel like shit. Never. You got how many times be like, oh, this and that, and then don't go through with your shit. Who doing that? Not me. I've been taught enough. Like Tiffany Roberts said, by the time you leave our house, you're gonna know how to survive outside in the world. Yeah, because you're gonna make sure of it. I'm sure you're gonna show me what not to do. And I'm telling you, the way you survive in this world is do not trust people. Don't trust them. Why would you trust somebody that you just met? Huh? Why? Why would you give a whole 100% into some stranger that you just met? You don't know people. You don't know what their headspace is. You don't know what people are there for real. You don't know what level of mental illnesses they're dealing with, demons that they're dealing with trauma that they went through, like secret fetishes that they're into. Some people like to tie people up. Some people, look, I made money. Nigga gave me money last night, bitch. And then let me tell you, I was at hold up. I know I have my money. Oh, wait. Is the money? I think the money is in my pocket. Where is it? Okay, right now. Yeah. And then you gotta know you fine. Because if you don't know your wealth, it's up with you, bitch. Stay the fuck in. Yeah. You know what to do. If you don't know how to move, if you don't know how to be careful, you're gonna always be the one with the sad story. When are you gonna get tired of being a victim? That's what I told myself. I said, I'm tired of being a fucking victim. I'm tired of people thinking that they can keep doing shit to me. Damn, did I lose my $5? Probably in the car. I don't know. Shit, I don't know. You're gonna always be a victim if you keep putting yourself in victim positions. For real. You know what I mean? These things happen to you because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to the signs and the flags that are coming around you. Like, you gotta pay attention, bro. You got to. Because if you don't pay attention, that's how you get got. That's how you get taken. That's how you go missing. That's how you get robbed. That's how you get, sorry to say, but used. Laughed at, accused of. You know, people, you know what they do to you? They put you in this thing called, oh, here's my $5. See? Money. So I made 20, so I spent, how much money did I spend? I spent, let's see, 13.22 plus 13. So 13.22, so 13 times 2, 4, 6, $26.44 plus tips. So I paid one girl 2 plus 1, and then I paid $6.50. So $6.50. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20. So I spent almost probably like, how much money did I spend last night? Shit, we gotta do a bank statement? I don't want to do a bank statement. So I got $26.44 plus $10.94 was $6.50. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait. So 12, 13, 2, 3, 4, $43.88 I spent last night. But then I got $20 back. I got $27 back. So technically I spent only $20 because I got this money back. Nigga said, let me buy you a drink. I said, why don't you just give me your money? Yeah, that's how I'm gonna start doing this. Oh yeah, give me your money. Just give it to me. You don't gotta buy me a drink, bro. Just give it to me. Yeah. That's what we doing here. Yeah. That's exactly what we doing. We ain't got time for that. Spending money. We need to save money. Stupid to spend it. There's too many bills that be coming about. And then let me tell you, that can go right into my bank account. Because I'm going to have to pay interest. $5 and something cents. Shit. Can you believe how much money they be paying for interest and shit? Bro, I swear to God. My room look crazy, but it's not. Not that crazy. I did laundry. I'm gonna take some medicine in a minute. So I didn't go to work yesterday. What day is that? Saturday? Called out, called sick. Time report. And then I gotta go to work tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I got an appointment on Tuesday with my advisor.
It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I work. Saturday, Sunday off. And wait, Thursday, I have a meeting. Ugh, I got so many things to do. Forgive me, Lord, for just being me. We got receipts on top of receipts. I wanted cereal, but now I don't want cereal. What time is it? What time is it? So glad I did my laundry. Someone told me Rico's gonna call me back, but I don't really know. I really think he's gone, y'all. My mom said that he's not good for me. She told me, he was like, yeah, he's gonna probably give you something. What? She's so obsessed with that type of shit. I don't know. You gotta be careful, bro. Can't just let anybody in. Not everybody got good intention. Brush. Where's my other brush? There's so many shit been messing up in my life. This was the hair I wore yesterday.